My name is Edit.
And I'm Beretta, and we are the Glitch Mob.
We got started as the Glitch Mob just through the love of music, electronic music, DJing, just kind of the underground DJ culture of the West Coast that we kind of came into. We'd play a lot of shows together. We get booked as solo artists, just DJing back to back, and eventually we kind of got into playing our shows together. We kind of like mash up our DJ sets together, and then we started writing music together, and then it just turned into this full thing, this full band. And so it's a very organic journey for the three of us from where we started to where we are now. And it's constantly evolved into us trying new things, writing different types of music that we had never done before, creating our own custom instruments. I mean, there's just so much. It's just been a really organic evolution of the Glitch Mob, and it's constantly changing. And a couple of years from now, it might be a whole nother thing. We don't even know yet. So, just letting the music kind of guide us.
Yeah, it was interesting because we never really intended on being in a band or in a group. It was just what we were doing. So for us, it was all very organic, grassroots process. It would come from a very DIY background.
There was no Twitter or Instagram or Vine or Snapchat or anything back in those days.
That's how old we are. It was. We actually used to get on the mic and we would say at the end of the show, we would say, "Thank you. Go to myspace.com/theglitchmob. Check us out." We didn't even have a website, but it was a very grassroots thing, and we used to we value the one-on-one interaction. We kind of think of it like building a mountain out of grains of sand, and after every single show, and we actually will still do this to this day, but we hop down and we would hand out CDs at the time. So we would go to every single show and we would burn. We had like a CD burner, and then eventually we would pay people to print it, but we would just hand out free mixes all the time. And we had been touring for I think a couple years before we had even written any music. We were just putting out mixes and stuff. But so we really were touring a lot and building our fan base directly, but like in person, because we didn't have Twitter to be able to talk to people. And at that time, having the music be given out and creating a personal connection with people, I think helped get, because we have like a very diehard core, like a hardcore fan base that it wasn't created from, we've never really had, I mean, we haven't had any big like #1 hit singles or any magazine covers or anything that would have like put us in the press. It's all from people sharing the love of music.
Very cult fan base. Yeah. Well, it generally all comes down to the feelings and emotions that we're trying to convey. I mean, like that's the root of all of our music. And then from there, in our heads, we build a story around it. And then after that, it all just kind of flows, like the arrangement and everything. It just, just flows very naturally after it. And the hardest part is actually just getting it all to sound good and finishing it. But that's really what it's all about. We don't really write music in terms of like, oh, this genre is hot right now, let's try to do that or anything. It really all comes down to what we're trying to say and what we're trying to convey. We might want to, convey a really epic, triumphant emotion, and basically figuring out what kind of musical story is going to best tell that. And that's really how it all comes together.
And from a sort of technical standpoint, we believe in the album, and we believe in taking our time with the songs. I mean, the last record took us about 2 years to write, and we all use Ableton, and everything is saved on the cloud and Dropbox, so that we have different studios we can work at, or we can come together, and everything is very modular. So like we'll spend some time writing a bunch of sketches for songs. So we'll write just tons and tons and tons of ideas, and then we'll go back through them after a period of time and pick out the ones that best suit the story, and then kind of hone down from there. But we're very perfectionists, and we like to put a lot of detail into the music, so it unfolds over time. Might be a little bit of a harder listen initially, but it's music that has been a lot of thought put into it, and has a very cinematic feel. But it's all in the box too. I mean, we used to have a bunch of different gear and everything, but at this point we travel so much, everything is pretty much done in the computer. Every now and again we'll record like a bass guitar or something like that, or we have vocalists, but everything else is all Ableton and different plugins.
Well, you know, as Josh said, when we first started out, we were, you know, we were 3 individual, you know, DJ producers that came together to start writing music. So I think when we first initially started out, I think we were really just making, you know, bass heavy,
bangers.
You know, yeah, bangers basically. Just for the club, and over time, I think, you know, by the time we got around to writing Drink the Sea, I think our sound had matured to where we wanted to tell a story, and we actually had something to say, as opposed to just making, you know, something that was just like really bass heavy with some crazy sounds. Yeah, and so I think that's really how our sound has really evolved. You know, it really came from a place where, you know, we didn't really necessarily have anything to say, like the music just sounded cool and it worked really well in a club, to now where, you know, we really are going for something, and, you know, there are real kind of like stories and emotions that we feed off of from our audience and our fans, you know, and yeah, so I think like that's like the main thing that can be taken away.
Yeah, I think when we very first came together, like Ed said, we were writing tracks for the club,
Yeah.
and then
Tracks, not songs.
Yeah,
basically,
tracks.
yeah.
But then at one point we decided, like, you know what? Let's step outside of our comfort zone. We wrote our first album, Drink the Sea, which was completely unexpected. It was people were joking that it was like we wrote our 3rd introspective album first. So we took a complete left turn. But for us, we just wanted to write something that really told a story. And then over time, it became clear to us that music like that connected with people really deeply. And then with this latest album, we wanted to kind of bridge those 2 worlds and take the emotion and the feeling and the connection that we had experienced with writing these heartfelt songs to our fans, and then bring it, like, rein it back into something that would actually still work. And so it's like half banger, half emotional bangers, I guess. But really still, like, we wanted to get out there because at the same time, like, we love playing live and we love performing and rocking out and having the feeling of, like, watching a rock band, like the drama. Like, we love, like, White Stripes and we love 9 Inch Nails, and that's, like, really when, you know, you find us at our house listening to music, it's more stuff like that. So we wanted to mix those 2 worlds together. Well, we have a pre-show meditation that we do every time right beforehand, and we just kind of clear out everything from the day or from the tour. And, you know, it can, right now we've just started tour, but tour can be a physically demanding time and people be really tired, but we just put everything else aside and have this quick meditation that we do with our crew, and just focus on the right here and the right now, and to be there with the sound and the fans, and create an environment that is inclusive of everybody and who's at the stage.
Well, we have a big tour coming up. We're going over to Europe after Lollapalooza.
And then a U.S. tour.
And then
in
a big
October.
U.S. tour in October, yeah. And then we'll probably focus back on writing some more music and just kind of, you know, get the ideas rolling again and see what we want to say next. And yeah, just music for us, you know. This is kind of our focus right now. Write music, playing shows, spreading the music love around to all the fans, and that's pretty much it. Eat good food.
What's up? We're the Glitch Mob, and you're watching GRAMMY Pro.